You ever have one of those mornings where you're just standing in your driveway minding your own business, watering the grass, and the next thing you know, you're the main character in a police drama? Because let me tell you, that's exactly how my Tuesday started. 3 squad cars, sirens, blazing lights spinning so hard the whole neighborhood was glued to their windows like it was sweeps week. There I was in my best suburban dad attire, cargo shorts, flip-flops, holding my garden hose like it was a weapon. Water still dripping down the driveway, wondering if this was all just some elaborate prank. Then out steps the lead cop, all business hand on his belt. And before I can say a word, he hits me with, "Sir, are you Ethan Morrison? We got a report about threats related to pool access." I blinked at him, genuinely lost, and just said, "Yeah, that's me." The only thing I threatened today was my tomato plants. And honestly, they deserved it. But the real show was just starting because behind him, flanked by 2 officers, was Beverly Hutchinson. She's the queen bee of our Maple Ridge HOA, strutting out like she's handing out Oscars, except it's 3 inches binders labeled pool access violation evidence of hostile noncompliance. Yeah, that's actually what it said in big bold font, like some kind of government warning label. So Beverly's already performing for her audience, explaining to the officers, he threatened me with legal action over community pool sharing protocols. You could hear she practiced that line in the mirror. The officer gives it a look like, "What's your story?" So I tell him the truth. All I did was say she couldn't use my private pool for her water aerobics class. And here's the part Beverly missed. She just called the cops on a guy who spent 15 years as a municipal contract lawyer, specializing in property disputes. Oh, yeah, this was about to get fun. Let me back up a sec. My name is Ethan Morrison. I'm 38 and 5 years ago, I ditched a big firm gig to start my own law practice, property law, zoning regulations, all the stuff that makes normal people's eyes glaze over. But lets me sleep in and buy my dream house in Maple Ridge. 4 bedrooms, fancy kitchen, whatever. The real reason I bought it, the pool. A kidney-shaped oasis rock waterfall, underwater lights, all tucked behind a 6-foot privacy fence. The deed spelled it out crystal clear private pool, not subject to HOA nonsense. I checked that language 3 times, had another lawyer friend check it too. That pool was mine, no question. Then Beverly moved in, and within 2 weeks she led a miniature coup d'etat over flower beds, kicking out the last HOA president and basically turning the place into a private dom. She wrote up neighbors for grass 1/4 inch too tall, demanded our mailboxes be set at perfect angles. I mostly stayed clear, played along, kept my lawn tidy, trash cans hidden, even hung up lights for the holiday contest. But then Beverly saw my pool, really saw it at a summer barbecue. She looked at that waterfall, and I swear I could hear her brain calculating how to make it hers. She said the community would benefit greatly from amenities like this. And I just smiled and said, happy to share the view from outside the fence. That was 3 months ago. Ever since, it was like she made her life's mission to get access to my pool. First snide comments at HOA meetings about underutilized neighborhood resources. Then official-looking letters one after the other asking me to open the pool for community wellness hours. I replied to every single one politely but firmly, always quoting the deed and the law. Beverly didn't like that. The week before the cops came, she'd actually posted a schedule on my gay community pool hours like she owned the place. I ripped it down and changed the lock. She sent out surveys to the whole neighborhood, loaded questions about equal access to all aquatic facilities. And when 60% of people said yes, probably thinking she meant the actual community pool, Beverly declared she had a mandate. That same morning, my security camera caught her creeping along my fence at 6 o'clock in the morning, tape measure in hand. When I confronted her, she claimed it was a safety inspection for insurance. I told her, leave or I'll pursue legal action for trespassing. Guess those were the magic words, because minutes later, she's dialing 911 and reporting a threat. So back to my driveway. 3 cops and a garden hose. Years of lawyering taught me never lose your cool with the police. I set down the hose and offered to show them my security footage. Beverly's face turned a lovely shade of tomato when I pulled out my phone. That's not necessary. I've documented everything. She insisted shoving her binders at the lead cop Sergeant Davis, according to his name tag, who looked at them with the same excitement most people have for a root canal. He schemes a few pages, newsletters, pool party flyers. Ma'am, this looks like community announcements. Beverly gets shrill. It's all about context. Page 47 shows neighborhood support for expanded pool access. So, I play the video for Sergeant Davis. He watches Beverly on my property. Tape measure out me calmly, asking her to leave no raised voices. Just legal talk. He hands her binder back. Ma'am, threatening legal action for trespassing isn't a criminal threat. In fact, it's what a property owner should do. Beverly's voice goes even higher. But he's hoarding resources. That pool could serve 20 families. The sergeant asks, is it a private pool? Yes. Then it's not a community resource. Now, here's the twist. Beverly pulls out a new folder. Says, my pool actually extends 2 feet onto HOA land. Something in me switches to lawyer mode. I ask to see the docs. She clutches them to her chest. Official HOA business. Sergeant Davis takes them. I spot the fake in 2 seconds. Date stamped from 1998. Font not used until 2005. Surveyor's license belonged to a guy who died in 94. I show the officer. He looks at Beverly. Ma'am, did you create these Beverly fumbles? I may have enhanced them for clarity. I laugh. You forged official county documents. I corrected errors. She snaps like that makes it okay. Sergeant Davis radios for a detective. The other officers start snapping photos. This has officially escalated from a neighborly nuisance to a criminal investigation. The detective arrives, takes Beverly's statement, and she just keeps digging her grave, admits to enhancing blueprints, says she set up a hidden camera pointed at my pool for safety monitoring. So, now we're at forgery and unlawful surveillance. The detective informs her she'll be summoned to court for multiple felonies. Beverly shrieks, I'm the HOA president. I have executive authority. Not how property law works. I say, and even the detective smirks. That night, the emergency HOA meeting is standing room only. News travels fast in suburbia, especially when it involves Beverly. She tries to invoke presidential immunity, as if running an HOA is the same as being the governor. The board treasurer, Harold, looks at her and says, Beverly, Article 15 covers landscaping budgets, not felonies. The board secretary, Margaret, lets me address the room. I lay out the legal risks, fake documents, illegal surveillance, false police reports. The HOA could get sued into bankruptcy, I say, and the room goes silent. Beverly objects like we're in a courtroom, but she's outnumbered. Harold motions for a vote of no confidence. 5 board members, 5 votes. She's out. Beverly gathers her binders, hands shaking, mumbling about her legacy. As she storms out, I announce pool party at my place this Saturday. Invitation only. The place cracks up. Beverly flees. A week later, the DA charges Beverly with 3 felonies and 2 misdemeanors. Her lawyer gets her a deal. 2 years probation, $5,000, and finds 300 hours of community service. The judge issues a restraining order. She can't come within 100 feet of my house. When the sentence is read, Beverly falls apart crying, gasping that she was trying to help the community. The judge just shakes his head and says, Ma'am, forging government documents isn't community service. It's a crime. So yeah, that's how a garden hose, a pool, and a queen bee with a binder nearly flipped my life upside down. And now my pool is still private. My neighbors got the show of the year. And Maple Ridge might finally learn that community doesn't mean one person's crusade. But you tell me, was I right to stand my ground, or was Beverly just fighting for her vision of the greater good? Drop your thoughts below, because in this neighborhood, everyone's got an opinion, and I'm honestly dying to hear yours.